another episode of Ballroom Chat. I'm your host, Samantha with Love.Live.Dance. If you've not already done so, please do make sure that you have subscribed to this channel and you've turned on the bell for notifications every time we post. Today, I'm joined by Ksenia Stavrica. She is a professional rhythm finalist, and we get to talk all about her journey from being an amateur competitor in Russia to now being a professional dancer and teacher in the States, and the differences that she's found along the way. Before we get started, I do want to give two quick thank yous to our partners. Once again, the Ballroom Box and the Girl with the Tree Tattoo. If you've not already heard of either of them, the Ballroom Box is a quarterly subscription service made by dancers for dancers. They are currently preparing their holiday box, which from what I have already seen of it, looks pretty fantastic. You can use the code Ballroom Chat to save 5% when you sign up for the Ballroom Box. The Girl with the Tree Tattoo, Katie Flashner, was an amazing guest. She is also an amazing blogger. She also has some published works, including her solo practice guide. And for listeners and viewers of the podcast, you can save 10% when you go to practiceballroomdance.com and purchase any of her materials. Both links for the Ballroom Box and the Girl with the Tree Tattoo will be included in the description box below. So thank you both for supporting the podcast. And without further ado, let's jump right into our conversation with Ksenia Stavrica. Well, thank you, Ksenia, for being a guest on today's podcast.
Thank you for having me, Samantha.
So I had the pleasure of speaking with your professional partner earlier in a previous episode. I want to hear kind of from you how you got started in ballroom dancing and then specifically what brought you ultimately to American Rhythm.
So let's see, I started when I was 5 years old, and then I saw this show on the TV. It was like all girls dancing in actually standard dresses. So it was like long and pretty. And then suddenly I imagined myself, oh, like I want to do the same thing. I want to dance. And then for 6 months, my parents didn't want me to bring to dance because, you know, they were thinking, oh, she's just a child. It's just like, you know, one time she wants this, then another time she wants this. And then I have a elder sister. So she did gymnastics like for 3 months, and then she did like art school and something else. So they were thinking, okay, like we already went through this, so we don't want to go the same route. And so for 6 months, I was telling them, maybe not every single day, but quite often, I want to go dance. I want to go dance. So finally they gave up and brought me to dance. So it was, I think, I was 5.5 years old. So I started dancing, and obviously I started with standard and Latin. And that's how it went. Had a lot of dance partners. And then, let's see, I think it was 2012. No, wait, it was 2011. We had a dance competition in my city. And then there was a judge, actually Olga Faraponova. She's a US smooth champion. So she was judging this competition. And then afterwards, she came to me and then the other girl and asked the question, would you like to live in America? So for a moment, I was a little bit shocked. But then I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, I would like to. And in 6 months, I came. And that was it. That's how I came to the States.
That's amazing. So what level were you competing at the time where you met Olga? Was it presented to you as a teaching opportunity to move or more as a training in the US opportunity?
Actually, you know what? We didn't really talk about it, but I knew she wanted a teacher because before me moving to the United States, we chat through Facebook a couple times because, you know, I also kind of wanted to know where I'm going, like what is it there. I knew she had a studio. She said, you know, like you can compete. We have a dance partner for you here, and also you can teach. So that's what it was. And then honestly, I was thinking more, oh, I want to compete. But then the thing is, I came, and then this guy who I was supposed to dance with, he was leaving to live in New York. And basically, it was just me by myself there at the studio. So I just started teaching. And there was like a I guess so. I don't even know how to call it, like craziness of mine. So I was in Seattle for 20 days, and I really wanted to dance. I really wanted to compete. So this guy through Facebook, he contacted me and said, "Oh, let's dance together." And then he was in Boston. He was living in Boston with his wife, so he was doing Latin. I'm like, well, why not? Because here I don't have a dance partner. There are not a lot of students at the studio, so I'm not really losing anything. And I left. So after 20 days of being actually in the United States and in Seattle, I left for Boston. Danced with this guy for I think maybe 3 or 4 months. We just couldn't connect. Like he didn't like what I was doing. Like I did not like something, and it was also expensive to live there. And then at that time, my parents were supporting me, but then they're like, you have to find something, and obviously I didn't have documents rather than just a tourist visa, and so it was a hard time, I would say. So I was there for 3 4 months, and then I left. I came back to Seattle. I asked Olga if I can come back. So and that's what it was. I came back, started teaching, and then didn't really compete for a while. Went to college because I needed to switch my visa to the student visa, and then I think in about a year or two, I started dancing with my rhythm dance partner Johnny O'Brien. So we did, I think, 2 years we danced, and then he moved to Colorado actually. So and then yeah, that's how I started doing rhythm
Okay. So rhythm really came out of that first partnership with Johnny.
with Johnny. Yes, because we were thinking, I was thinking to do Latin, and I really love Latin because that's what I did almost all my life. And and then I was thinking maybe I should try something new. Plus, at that time, the competition was not at that level in rhythm. So I
Mm.
was thinking, of course, nothing is easy, but maybe you start with this and then you move to something else. Maybe you come back to rhythm one day. I mean, sorry, to Latin, and that's how we decided. Okay, let's do rhythm together.
Nice, nice. What was the most challenging thing, or what did you find the most difficult switching from your Latin style to now competing in rhythm?
I would say I think my answer is not going to be something different from all the other Latin dancers. I think mambo timing,
Mm.
because obviously there are similarities with samba, but then in mambo there is this time difference because and to this day sometimes I still make this mistake. I starting on one, but in reality it should be two.
Mhm.
So I guess that's what's the most challenging, just the mambo timing. But everything else, I think I love it. I do miss like if I would compare Latin and rhythm, I do miss jive and samba there. I miss it a lot.
Do you find with your current partnership with Aaron that or with your previous partnerships, um, that you try to style your East Coast swing to have some of that jivey feel, or no? Do you want to keep the two styles completely separate?
No, we so when we just started dancing, and obviously I'm coming from Latin. Aaron is coming from he did rhythm, but not for a long time either. And I remember working with Isabella and Tomas, and they're like, okay, so guys, you're totally two, you're coming from totally two different, styles. Let's change it. So we started with uh, like with cha is I mean the same, but then swing, I started doing jive because like in jive there is a level of, how would I say it, height level,
Hmm.
or um, so
It's
I was
very upright
jumping
and
really
lifted.
high, I
Yeah.
guess. Yes, yes. Because I start listening to the music, and like I have to go up and down, up and down. So for a long time, we were really, and we're still working on it. So we're trying to actually get rid of it. So we really want this, instead of jumpy East Coast swing, just create more rhythm, like more body, and then just the rhythm in the feet rather than in the whole body.
Mm. Um, in the period of time that you were teaching, and you're still teaching, I presume, um, what, coming from a very, I presume, strict 10 dance background in Russia, teaching for an American audience, what has your experience been? Has there been a change? Have you altered your style at all, or no? Is there consistency across both cultures?
I don't think there is a consistent. I agree with you. It was more strict in Russia. Like when I was doing Latin, it's like, you practice this basic step for 2 hours, then you dance with your partner, and then I remember when I was living in Russia, I didn't have the opportunity to do like yoga, ballet, jazz, because like all these things, and I'm just learning right now, they all help dance. So I was noticing that some of the other girls, they were doing like on top of dance, they were doing some other things, but they also paid money for this. So it wasn't like by the like long time ago. I can't say long time ago. What, 10 years ago, there was no YouTube, or I mean, it wasn't popular. So you can just hop on there and then do yoga yourself, do jazz, do theater arts, and something. So, but it was more strict. So it wasn't just dance and that's it. Here I find it like, especially so teaching style, it's less, I don't think the consistency is the right word, like less strict, I would
Mm.
say. Oh, it's okay, like if I don't want to do this, it's okay. Or if I can't do this basic step, it's okay, let's just change it to something else. So it's definitely less, more freedom, I would say, here. And like, if I would compare rhythm and then Latin back in Russia. But we're still trying to figure out what is better. I do like structure. I feel like in Russia, sometimes we go overboard and it's too strict. Because I remember even when I was a girl, uh, like I had a teacher with a stick. I mean, she wasn't hurting us, but we were working on this cha 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 lock step, and then I really needed to straighten my knees. So she would, if I wouldn't, then she would have to kind of like help me out with the stick. I
Mm.
mean, she wasn't hurting us, but it was pretty strict. And then if you didn't do it right, okay, like you practice another 30, 40 minutes by yourself, and then you can go home. But if you're not gonna do it, then you might as well sleep here at the studio. Here there is, of course, um, nobody is forcing you. Well, I feel like what also in Russia, yes, so there is structure, and then there is, it's so different because we have dance clubs there. So you're competing for a club. Here in the States, you kind of on your own. Like you have teachers, but then there is no dance club. So that what was shocking for me, because in Russia I was actually doing Latin in amateurs, not in professionals, in amateurs.
Mm.
And like I had my teacher, like we had uh, group classes, private lessons, which here we do have here. It's the same thing, but there it's more like a teamwork. Here it's kind of like you're on your own. You create this teamwork yourself. I guess this is also the difference between dancing, competing in amateurs and then also in professionals. Because in professionals you're more on your own. So that's what I think.
Yeah. Coming from that dance club atmosphere where you kind of have this built-in community, did
Mhm.
that foster the positive aspects or the negative aspects of competition in your experience? Was that a support network that lifted everyone up, or did that create more of a pecking order to see who could be on the top of the leaderboard within your club?
I would say 50-50, because I really do like teamwork. You come to dance, and then you also like socialize, chat with other people, go to competitions together. And then I remember we were taking this train trip to Moscow to Russian Open, and it was, I think, four couples. So we all together. Uh, we take a train in the evening, and then sleep, and then go in the morning, take a subway to this big, how would I say it, like a stadium where the Russian Open was happening, and we were doing it all together. So we would dance, and then like we would go out, eat, socializing. But then on the other hand, I remember also competing with the other girls, because um, this girl, she has one dress. Oh, I want to have the same dress, like, because I want to be better than everybody else. So it's like this, comparison, which is, I don't know, I don't think necessarily it's a bad thing. It's neither.
Mhm.
But I would say it's like 50-50. So I remember even myself saying, "Oh, my mom, I want to have this same dress as this girl. Let's go make dress in Moscow because this is where this girl got this dress." So, and it was happening, like, and then my parents like, "Oh, I don't know if we can afford it," but then there was a period of time when my parents had enough money, so they're like, "Okay, yeah, let's make a dress from this same dress lady, and let's go to Moscow, make dress." So you can be, I guess, better, or
Mm.
at least you you'll have the same opportunity as the other girls. So there was this always comparison, and trying to be better, beat everybody. So not only just like how you look, but also how you dance. So I would say it's like 50-50.
Or
But when I came to the United States, I did miss this team, like a dance club, that you come, you have like specific times when, like, 3 times a week you have group classes. That like at 5:30 you start the group class, and then you have a private lesson afterwards. So it was like more structured, as you said. So I do miss that.
do you think that's a product of, and maybe this is just American perspective versus the world? Do you think that's a product of um, other international countries really pushing the youth amateur side of our sport versus American dance tends to be for more older adults? We tend to equate ballroom dancing with the pro-am experience rather than really pushing, 5 to 15-year olds into the sport.
um you said comparing to the other countries, right? Like
Yeah.
international level.
Do you think that having that dance club atmosphere is a product of having more of an amateur component to the sport versus an adult component?
I think it's part of it, yes, because on, like, as I said, like in Russia, I wasn't competing in professionals, and I know, like, right now I'm looking at it, and I know my teacher, so he was a professional dancer, and then right now I understand how he felt, because he wasn't the one who was coming to the group classes, maybe taking private lessons, but he would need to fly either to Moscow, St. Petersburg, some centers where there are different levels of teaching. So I would say it's like it's um, more of the amateur side of this, teamwork, and it is good.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
With your teaching now, are you teaching youth? Are you teaching adults? Are you teaching everybody?
Yes, so I started, like, when I came to the States, I started with teaching kids, and I did love it. But then the problem is, and it's probably not going to be. I won't be the first one who is going to tell you. There is a difference between, again, American kids and then Russian kids, because American parents, and so they bring their American kids, and they more, not that they don't care. They give more freedom to their child. Like, if he doesn't want to dance today, it's okay. Like we will come back later. With Russian parents, and it's with American parents, I do understand them, so they give this freedom to their child, right? But then with Russian parents, they come and then they sit, they watch, and then they tell me as a teacher, okay, you're doing this wrong. Okay, maybe you should do it like this, and then after the lesson, you have to talk to them for a little bit, and then they saying, oh, uh, we don't think um, our child learned anything today, or he didn't pay attention, or I think you should be even much more strict with them. So, and you always, like from Russian parents, you always get this, I don't even know what to call it. um, what's the right word for that? Like they always trying to tell you what to do, because they're like more on the strict side. They want their kids to grow, and I do understand where it's coming from. They don't want, just spend money and then their kid will come and won't learn anything and just leave. So I do understand that. So anyway, I started with that. I was teaching both American kids and Russian kids, and then after a while I said enough. As much as I love teaching kids, I don't want to teach kids anymore. American kids is okay, although what I didn't like again about American kids, we start working on something, we start doing shows, or started working on this basic step, and then in my head, I'm thinking, okay, let's continue working on this basic step so we can finish by Friday. So I'm making this schedule in my head, so see how they're gonna progress, and then next week we'll do something else. But then next time they don't show up, and then next time they don't show up, and then they won't show up maybe for a week because maybe they went for vacation or their kid didn't want to come to dance, and then we lose this I guess momentum, and they come back and we don't even remember where we left. So then it's again we start working on basic step and then it happens again, so there is no again consistency. And with Russian parents, there's sometimes there were problems when they were coming to me, and like, okay, like we think you should do this, like you can even not really like punch them, but be like more strict. So and then after a while I said no, that's enough for me, and then I just started teaching adults. So I started making shows, not really competitions, just like a dance show at the studio, or we would rent some stage and then do the shows with them. That's what I loved. And these guys were coming, like, since I live in Seattle, like Microsoft, Google, so they, they're all programmers, and they needed something so different. So some of them started dancing, and it was fun. I loved that time. I stopped teaching, let's see, in March because of this quarantine, because I was also teaching at the smallest studio, and then I guess it was hard to keep up with the business. So I don't think they open up yet.
Yeah,
So
obviously, everything post March has like dramatically changed our industry. I want to talk a little bit about the clientele that you mentioned. So you talk about having older gentlemen that are programmers or software engineers, very analytical engineering mindset. Um, Obviously, being a dancer yourself, more artistic, more creative. What has either been your biggest success or your biggest challenge bridging the gap between the creative mindset and the engineering mindset?
creative mindset engineering. I think the first one is actually it's I'll come back to creative and engineering mind. It also, these programmers who come to me, they all very shy. So firstly, it's actually stepping out of their comfort zone, because they come, they already know, like, their beginner level, they already know some basics, and then afterwards we need to do the showcase, even just like a bronze level showcase, and then they start freaking out. It's like, no, like, how am I gonna go, like, here at the studio I can dance because I dance with you, but I can't go and dance on the stage where a lot of people are watching me. It's like, totally different when you dance by yourself or with your teacher that you've been dancing with for years. at the studio and then on the stage. So first I would say it's like breaking this comfort zone. So that was, I would say, I think it was success with this guys from tech industries. Firstly, break the comfort zone, comfort level. So I guess we would practice, practice, practice. I guess, and then sometimes I would ask them, "Can you bring your friends over? Like you coming from work? That was back a couple years ago when I was teaching in the different studio." And they would bring their friends, they would watch them, and on their first try it's like, oh no, like I'm losing my concentration, because they're watching me. It's not the same as I would just dance by myself or just with you. So and then uh, with practice it becomes not perfect, I would say, with pro-am students, but it's definitely getting better.
Mm-hmm.
So we would do that, and then when we went to the stage, tell them, if you mess up, it's okay because I'm here for you. But I don't think there was a couple times when when these guys, they would forget the routine, but then they would pick up because I would tell them, okay, if you mess up, stand here, and then we'll start from this piece. So they would already know. So there was like option A and option B. If you mess up here, okay, we'll do this. If you mess up here, we'll do this. So they were prepared.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that was success, breaking their comfort zone. And then you mentioned about creative and then engineering. Can you repeat your question one more time, please?
Yeah. Well, before I repeat the question, I just want to say like that what you just talked about was awesome. That is definitely something that I myself try to do with students that are coming from the similar place where very uncomfortable, they're very shy, maybe they're doing it as a way to break out of their comfort zone or the first step to become more sociable out in public. So yeah, a lot of practice, a lot of encouragement, and kind of slowly cranking up the heat to be like, all right, we made it to this checkpoint. Great. Now we're going to make it a little bit more difficult. Okay. We made it to this checkpoint. Exactly. So the question that I asked was, having more of a creative artistic background yourself, how do you bridge the gap as a teacher when someone is coming in with more of that analytical engineering mindset?
I think for this one, to answer this question, I feel like it comes with the time because they coming and they are very, very like this, so they can't even hear the music. So it's, as you said, it's baby steps. First we learn basic steps, and then move to the different level, and next, and then especially when I feel like showcases, um, they do help to bring creativity because you're showing them some videos, then they start looking for costumes, then they really like that music that they're gonna dance to, and then when you do it first time, it's still a little harder. Second and third and fourth time, it's getting better, and then students are coming to me saying, oh, you know what, like I really like that guy from this I don't know, Star Trek movie. Can we do the show like this? Like I want to be him. So, and I feel like it's creativity. We all have it. It's just some people, they had an opportunity to grow it more, and then some people, they chose to do either for the money or just because they don't know what to do, or that's only one thing they know, like how to program and all these things. But we can make it better each time.
Yeah.
So I think we all have creative minds.
Well, and I love that too, that you're using the showcase concept as kind of the starting point. I feel like it would be very easy for someone with a competitive background to encourage their students to be pro-am competitors right out of the gate. But I feel like that can be very overwhelming and scary. So if you just focus on one dance style and one set of choreography, you're building in those basics, you're building in the foundations, but it's just a thing to focus on. And you can incorporate some of their personality or their other, hobbies. You mentioned maybe like we can do a Star Trek themed, showcase, or if there's a movie or music that you really like, we can, pretend to be Elvis or whatever it might be that they can connect to. Then you can slowly build, okay, we did one showcase this year, maybe let's take on 2 new styles, or let's take on 3 new styles. And then you're building that foundation so that they can be long-term dancers, not just a short-term experience.
Right. This is actually the one thing that I've learned, like when again, coming from Russia, like we were doing the showcase, and then of course in Russia I wasn't teaching. So somebody else would teach me, but then as an amateur I would have this like one goal. So okay, we're doing the showcase and we would practice it every single day, but it's different when you teach the students. You can't really practice this one thing every single day. First it's going to get boring, and then they're going to lose interest, right? So you have to throw all the different pieces, maybe even different styles, in creating this showcase. And you can practice this showcase every single day, but it's not just that. It's like you maybe start with warming up with the dance that they already know, or just warming up with the basic step, and then do something else, and then at the end let's review our showcase. And if you practice every single day, every single day is different, but then at the same time you're still practicing the showcase. That's what I had to learn, because like when I started teaching them, especially adults, because for kids I had more structure. Okay, if we're doing the showcase, let's practice from the beginning until the end. So it's different. For adults, no, they get bored, and then they don't want to do it. It's just too much focus, because they're already coming from work. They want their brain to rest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is still work, but it's a different kind of work, creative, right? But you still don't want to overwhelm them. So, and yeah, that's the thing. They come, and then you have to throw all the different pieces at them, all the different styles, and then in the end they're going to be ready, and they're not going to get bored and overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's a hard balance to figure out. Okay, I want to not bore them. I want to keep it interesting. I want to keep it exciting. I want to keep it fresh. But I also want to make sure that we're actually making progress towards an achievable goal at the end of the day.
And I didn't finish actually my course, so that was my challenge, because when I started applying the same technique from teaching kids or from dancing myself. Okay, drills, we have to do this show routine every day. And then I started applying it to them, but then my the owner of the studio, he's like, no, these guys, they just want to, they come here, they want to have fun, like let's mix different styles. So that's how I learned it. And then I decided, yeah, that actually works. And they started living more happier. Like when they would leave the studio, they were not overwhelmed. But before, when I just started teaching them, like we were doing drills, and they were getting out of the studio all sweaty, and then sometimes they wouldn't come back because it was too much. First they have to do work, and then dance work. So it was too much, but then I had to change my technique on teaching, I guess.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's fun.
I want to pivot and talk about your current dancing as a professional. We talked a little bit about kind of how you're changing your own style to be more in this new rhythm partnership with Aaron. I want to talk about the amazing year you guys had in 2019. When Aaron was on the podcast, we talked a little bit about the fact that just kind of right out of the gate, you guys got in front of the judges, and the judges appreciated what they saw from you guys. But I want to get your perspective on it. What were those first couple competitions like, when new partnership, new routines in front of judges for the first time?
Everything started just like so fast, because I think Aaron already mentioned on the podcast that I listened to it, that we met in November or something like this, and I was quite depressed because Johnny left, and then I was thinking, well, great, now I don't have a dance partner. So I went to Italy to visit my friend there. She had a wedding, So, and then I'm there, and then I'm thinking, okay, I come, like I'm having a great time here in Europe, in Russia, spending time with my parents. And then when I'm gonna come back to the States, what am I gonna do? Okay, I have school, but that's not enough. Like I want to continue dancing. And as he mentioned, so I texted him or emailed on Facebook, messaged him on Facebook saying, "Oh, let's meet, let's have a tryout," because I saw his small advertisement with his dance video, and that's how we started. So we started, I guess, in December, and then our first competition was already in February, California Open. In fact, no, in January it was a Fred Astaire competition first, so that was our little practice there. I think it was like 3 couples there, and then our first normal competition was California Open. It was, everything was happening so fast, and we needed to create all these routines, totally new 5 different routines. For me, I don't think it was that shocking, because I remember when I was switching dance partners back in Russia, um, I really liked that idea that my coaches there, they didn't tell me, oh, right now you have to have this connection with your dance partner. You're gonna practice, like, I don't know, from 3 to 6 months, because you need to start feeling each other. You need to get comfortable. We need to change all these routines and all these things. It was never like this, because I'm very well aware that some couples, they do that, which I don't know if it's right or wrong. But with me, it was always like, okay, new dance partner, we have 2 weeks. This competition is coming. We have to change not only 5 routines, but 10, because I was doing standard and Latin. So I think I've had like overall, I don't know, I would say at least 10 dance partners back in Russia. And then every time we would have like 3 weeks, we would have this goal. Okay, this competition is happening here, like on a Saturday or Sunday. So we have 2 3 weeks. We need to get ready. So we would make all this totally new routines. And it was at first, when you start doing it, it's quite shocking. And then when you go on the floor, you obviously, it's not enough time to practice all these routines and remember them. But then on the other hand, mentally, you already broke this, how would I say it, like line and fear. Because during this 3 or 6 months, when you just started dancing with a new partner, you're thinking, oh, it's going to be my next competition, and then you're having all these thoughts, and then you start to get worried. But when you do it in 2 weeks, all you have time to think is about the routines. That's it. You don't have, like, you practice, you go home, you sleep, you come back in the morning, you don't even have time to fear, to have this fear. And so I had that experience, and that's why here in the States, I don't think it was that shocking for me. So, but it was quick, but I'm glad we did it. So our first competition was California Open, and then we started with Vegas, and we were basically doing, I think, like 2 competitions a month, which that's what I was always dreaming of. Because, like, again, comparing to Russia, with Russia, we would go actually every weekend out of town to do competitions. So we had total of like 3 or 4 competitions a month, and I loved it. Because you have this goal, like you come to the studio, you practice for 5 6 days, then you go to competition, then you come back. So you're always in this like kind of like go mode. And you have the goal. You don't just come to the studio and think, oh, I have a month or like a month and a half until my next competition. I have time. I'll practice it tomorrow. So it was always like this, and this is what I loved. So my dream was actually to even do more competitions. I know sometimes it can be overwhelming, and you have to be careful what you wish for, because you might get it one day. But I loved what we did. It was quick, no time to think about any fear. So yeah, 2 competitions a month. I thought it was good. I would personally do more if we could. But also because I live in Seattle and then he lives here in California, it's been a little, I guess, tough to do more competitions. So, but 2 competitions a month is good enough for now.
So, at the time of recording, the episode has not aired, but for folks that are listening to this when it's been published, I had Katie, the girl with the tree tattoo, on, and we talked about her guide to solo practicing. We talked about it from her being an amateur and a pro-am partnership mindset. I want to talk with you about how you structure your practices when you are in Seattle, because obviously you are in a long distance pro partnership. So solo practice is going to be super key. So how have you structured that, and how have you found success with it?
So I actually right now so I live in West Seattle, and then all the studios, they are like totally on a different side, and they also close the bridge. So right now for me to get to the studio is like um, probably not 2 hours, but less than 2 hours to get to the studio. So what I do right now is I go to the gym, which is like 15 minutes away from me, and it has the floor, the mirrors there, and nobody is there. And it's great. And then you can use music all you want. So that's what I do. I go there, I wouldn't say every day, so maybe every other day. Usually I start in the morning. For me personally, if I don't start in the morning, that's it. I'm not gonna go in the evening. Plus, there are more people in the evening because somebody wants to do aerobics, or there are group classes, not during quarantine, but before. So I usually go in the morning. I have all the mirrors, put the music on, and dance. But usually what I do is I actually choose. So I don't do all 5 dances in one day. I pick two. For example, I start with cha cha cha, and then move to rumba. And then if I have time, I'm gonna review the other three. Then next day I start with rumba with my second dance, work on that more, because on my first day, yes, I did focus on cha 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 and rumba, but then cha cha cha, usually on your first dance you spend much more time, a lot of time, and then you kind of running out of time. So it's like, okay, and then I have to do rumba, but it's not as there is not much of the detailed work, I would say. So I would say one dance you choose for your main focus, and then the other one is not as much details. And then second day is okay, I'm focusing on rumba, and then review what I did yesterday in cha-cha. And then so basically I add one new dance and then focus on details. Because I tried before doing, like, even back in Russia, all 5 dances, but all you do is just drill yourself. That's it. There is no detailed work, nothing. And then sometimes there are days when I pick, okay, this day I work on where am I gonna look. Okay, this is the audience. There is my imaginary dance partner. It is hard because I don't know if you did compete before,
I
right?
did, yes.
Or you competing now. So it helps, but it's a totally different experience when you have an actual dance partner that you can touch, and imaginary dance partner. But I do it because there is some benefit to it. So one day I choose, okay, here is where am I gonna look, here or my dance partner, or maybe somewhere else. The next day I work on my footwork. The third day something else. So I rotate. Plus I think I do more. In fact, I started like I would say a year ago, started doing yoga, which helps a lot. And I'm not really a fan of yoga. I don't really like all the stretching and everything. But what I realized is it helps your body. It helps your body, and then when you go on the floor, you feel more free, because your body is stretched from the inside, if I can say it. I also tried gyrotonic, if you heard about it. It's like you come to the studio, they have these machines, and then you have to work on your like flexibility. So on your back, or if you want to do splits. So it is a little bit expensive. So I don't do it often enough, but hopefully in the future, maybe someday I can even have this machine at home. But it helps a lot. Like you do one lesson, next day you go dance and you feel like you're flying on the floor. Like there's so much freedom in your body.
Uh,
So that's what I do when I practice on my own.
So I want to dig a little bit deeper into that. So, with yoga or with
Mhm.
gyrotonics, are you finding the benefit from a physical aspect, as in your body is more stretched or warmed up or loosened, or the joints are moving in a particular way, or is it more an internal body awareness that you're finding the benefit from?
I would say it's both because for gyrotonic or yoga, it depends what. For example, if we take yoga, it depends what kind of yoga you're talking about because there are different ones. There is one on balance, there is one on flexibility. There's something else. It depends what you choose. I personally do it for just like flexibility and for me to it's easier to dance. That's what I'm doing. I wouldn't say, as you said, more like internal work. So it's more physical, I would say. So that's my preference, but people are different.
Sure, sure. No, I was curious, and I wanted to hear a little bit more about that, whether it really was the physical aspect or if there was something else going on. But it sounds like it really is just that working
More
your body
physical
in a
because
different way.
yeah, because like back in Russia, I did myself a little bit of yoga. I did even ballet for I think 4 years or 5 years, and I did not like ballet. But I remember one of my teachers said, "Oh, she's not flexible enough, so she needs to do some stretching." So that's why my parents, they're like, "Okay, let's do ballet because in ballet you do the stretching." But then what happened is we did the stretching, but we also had like fork dance, a little bit of that, and obviously the ballet. After doing it for I don't know 6 months, yes, I stretched my body a little bit, but there it was more on like ballet focused. Okay, here is the pirouette, here is some other moves, and then you have to walk like this. So I came back to dance, and my dance teachers, they were shocked. I started dancing like this. so so it was a little bit helpful, but like they stretched me a little bit, but it wasn't a lot of it. So in Russia, I learned that you have to be careful what you choose. Like if you want to really help your dance, you have to choose specifically. Okay, for now, I know that yoga helps for me, gyrotonic helps. Maybe some people like for doing jazz or modern dance, something like this helps them to hip hop free their body. Um, so what I found is yoga and gyrotonic. But then when I was doing in Russia ballet, it actually helped a little bit. Yes, my body started to feel more stretched and warm, but on the other hand, I started dancing like this, like a ballet girl. So you
How
have to be very careful.
how old were you when you were taking those ballet classes?
um, let's see. So I started dancing when I was like 5.5. I would say around 10,
Okay.
around 10 years old.
I
Yeah.
I wonder, and you would have a little bit better perspective on this, having started ballroom dancing so young. So I started with ballet, tap, and jazz when I was in that like 5 to 6
Uh-huh.
age, and didn't get into ballroom dancing until college. Um, One of the things that I would say can be problematic is um, the maybe not having the awareness or not having the understanding at whatever age you are, that like your cha-cha technique is not necessarily going to impact your waltz technique, or your waltz technique needs to kind of be separated from your rumba technique. So the reason why I asked about your age was I was wondering if you were young enough at the time that there wasn't a clear separation of like, this is what I do in ballet and it's only impacting ballet, and that's why there was kind of a crossover that you were running into.
I think you might be right because the thing is like with this, it was a like a ballet school, and there at the ballet school, it's not just ballet. It's and I did not know that. I was thinking ballet. It's all about yes they do dancing, but it's mostly they spend a lot of time on stretching their bodies, doing the splits and everything. That's why my parents brought me to this dance school. But then in reality, it's a totally different um, area, because ballroom dance is one thing, and then ballet is a totally different dance, because in ballet we had fork dance, we had the stretching class, which was like maybe 3 times a week, which is not what I would expect, because I was thinking it's going to be every single day and it's all about stretching. And then we had ballet dance. There was some other classes that I don't remember. Okay, here on this lesson we're working on the spins,
Mm.
which is great, but it's a totally different area. So I think you're right. So I guess I got lost. So I finished the school. I did not like it. So I think it was for 4 years. And after that, you could compete in like ensemble, or like you would have a dance tip, and then you would travel around Russia with your team performing in the folk dance. Then after that, you could actually choose. You know how in the ballroom we have, you choose standard, you choose rhythm, Latin, after you already danced in the young age, all you know 2 categories. So in ballet it's kind of the same thing. You have to choose, either you go to ballet, or you can do folk dance, or there were other options. So you have to decide. And then after 4 years I said, it's enough. I don't want to do it. I'm not really interested in that, because in reality I just wanted to come and to be more stretched. That's what it was. But after that, I think my parents also figured that out. So then I had a teacher who would only work on my splits and just the stretching itself. So that was, I would say, was very helpful.
Yeah, just to focus on specifically the flexibility that you need. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right, right.
Um, Anything else that you wanted to talk about? Any tips or tricks, or any other kind of learning experiences coming from Russia and now living in the US, that you want to share with our viewers and listeners?
I think probably I would say live without any fear. I feel like what I had to go through, like I was depressed for some period of time because I did not have a dance partner. I did not have coaches. I don't have anybody to, sponsor my dresses and all these things. So it was like almost like a dream for me. And before I was thinking, oh, what am I gonna do with my life? I don't have a dance partner. How am I gonna find anybody? And it was this constant fear for, I think, like couple years of the period that I did not have a dance partner. And then I was thinking, okay, I guess my dance career is done. It brought me to the United States, but it's over. I mean, what can I do? I can't find anybody. And at that time I did not have money, to take lessons with different coaches. So at some point I was thinking, okay, that's the end of it. But then I feel like if you love something, because I kept practicing on my own, maybe not every day, but sometimes. And then I would come to the studio in Everett, practice by myself, and imagine myself one day having a dance partner, having a team of coaches, taking lessons with top coaches in the industry. So I was coming to the studio, imagining myself being there. So I was uh, dreamy, I guess, so that one day, hopefully, it will happen, and it did. So I feel like the lesson is you have to believe in yourself, and then you have to believe in what you want out of your life. So that's, I guess, my um, advice
Oh, I
for
like
to
that.
everybody else. And then the other thing is, again, as I mentioned, do not fear, because in the end, I feel like if you love what you do, maybe not right now, but there will be a chance for you to take the opportunity, and then show it to the world what you're good at. If you really love what you're doing, and imagining that this is your life.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's a third part of that, right? So there's believe in yourself, there's follow it fearlessly, and then there's continue to pursue it or continue to persevere. Because it would be very easy to
Right.
be like, okay, well, I want this to happen. I believe that it could happen, but it's not happening right now. So I'm just going to take some time off rather than I'm going to continue to
Correct.
work at it and I'm going to continue to better myself. And even if I don't have a partner to work with right now, there are still things that I can do on my
Mhm.
own to get me to that next step.
Right. No, this is absolutely right. And I remember, like, when I was get married, I was 21, and then at the time I was so scared. I was thinking, oh my gosh, that's it. My dance career is over, because it's family life, and then there's gonna be kids, and then my parents are gonna come over, and then that's it. That's the end of it. I was so scared, and then I told my husband, I don't want to stop dancing, and then you're not going to tell me that I have to stop dancing, because there are husbands who don't want their girls to, or wives to dance. And then that's was the first thing I told my husband. If you if you're going to tell me don't dance, um that's it. Like, there is no marriage, there is nothing. So he's like, no, no, like, I want you to dance. So that was a good, I guess, a big plus and a big encouragement for me, because I knew that, okay, hopefully if I'll find somebody, a dance partner or a team, nobody can tell me no, you can't dance, just because you married and you have a family now. So by that time I was a little scared, but now, living with it, and then, um, having pretty much everything I dreamed of, in a dance industry, having a team, having a dance partner, dance sponsorship. Right now I feel like I have no fear. I do have some. I still have to work work in it. I'm not perfect, as nobody is, but it taught me a lesson. So again, don't fear, and everything is gonna be good. If you're good at something, somebody is gonna, reach out to you, or you will reach out to somebody. If you love what you do, you'll you'll succeed.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much for being a guest on today's episode.
Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you again to Ksenia for being a guest on today's podcast. If you want to follow along with her dance journey, you can do so using the links in the description box below. I'm Samantha. I've been your host with Love.Live.Dance. You can follow us across social media at Ballroom Chat, or if you prefer the podcast versions of these episodes, you can find all of those over at ballroomchat.com. If you've not already done so, please do make sure that you are subscribed to this YouTube channel and that you have hit the bell for notifications and given us a thumbs up to indicate that you like these interviews and that you want to see more of them. If you want to support the podcast, you can do so by purchasing a ballroom box subscription or by picking up the solo practice guide by the girl at the tree tattoo. Links are also in the description box below for those as well. As always, stay safe, stay positive, and we hope to see you dancing very soon.